Hey guys, Andre here with xenomorph.com, and finally the channel name makes somehow sense. It's the first time that I can present you a xenomorph 1/6 scale collectible. It took some time. I decided to pass on the first alien collectibles by Hot Toys. I read about some quality issues here and there, so I decided to wait for the re-releases, and now about 6 to 8 years later they finally arrive. Well, at least the first one, as you can see here, the alien drone or the alien warrior from Aliens, the movie, or the second part of Alien. So I'm really curious on this release. It's the latest Hot Toys release directly from Hong Kong, and yeah, I will show you a quick review on this nice looking creature. So just a quick look at the box as usual. As you can see, the movie title, name of the figure, it's already the MMS354. Actually quite a tall box, because I mean the creature itself is about 1/3 taller than a human. You see there's a alien skull or the alien head printed on. It's like a shiny translucent slip cover. And inside there's a big tray for the creature and the second smaller tray for the base. And if I'm correct, the first alien figures were actually like snap-in kits that you had to somehow build first. But at least I think it was the case for the first releases. I think they changed it with some later releases. But this figure is fully assembled. Okay, and here we go with the actual creature out of the box. Here's the alien warrior, the release of Hot Toys. And the first impression was really good. I mean, I never had the experience to unbox an alien figure by Hot Toys, but if it has been like this in the first releases, I'm really happy for you guys that own the first releases. I mean, it's a beautiful release on this one. And I mean, at the first impression, you really feel the different color layers on there, the magnificent sculpt work, and overall it just has quite a nice presence. So let's go first for the accessories, which there are not so many. Actually, it's only these two well, blaster acid spray effects, like a battle damage feature. I will show you this in a minute, how to add them to the actual creature. And then of course we've got here the base with a crotch grabber. It's quite basic with a nameplate alien warrior on it. So in the end I think the paint job is quite nice on this base, and as you can see there's no predefined set of steps or indication of where to place the feet. Just a plain basic bottom of a spaceship or a space station or something. Alright, let's go for the head sculpt, and I definitely have to show this from the side, because this is a beauty of a piece. It's quite a lengthy head sculpt, a lot of details in there with this tubing, all these ridges going on. These are like flexible pieces here. Then, as you can see here on the back part, there's a lot of color variation going on. It's something like a blended between blue, pearl, and somehow also a bit brown in there, and a lot of black. But you definitely feel all these colored layers. It's definitely a nice effect. Also on the forehead you see the same effect. It also seems like there's some indentation for somehow it feels that there could be these eye sockets that we have from the big chap, but they're not that present here on the alien warrior, because it's definitely not part of the movie design. So then let's go for the inner jaw or the mouth area. As you probably can tell, these parts here are rubbery, and well, there's a main reason. You have a switch below the back part of the head where my finger is. You push it forward, and then the inner jaw springs out like this. You have to play a bit with the switch, and in a certain position it will rest in place. So you slide it forward, push it a bit down towards the bottom, and then it will hold in place. And this is how it looks with the inner mouth extended. Definitely cool. Nice paint application on the inner mouth as well. This is a hard plastic piece, so you can't articulate something here. It's just this sliding mechanism. And they tell you, of course, in the manual that you shouldn't have this opened all the way because of these gums or what they are, because they have to probably get a bit loose over time. So then we continue with the head articulation. As you can see, it's restricted because of these shoulder armor pieces here, but actually the rotation is quite okay, so you definitely can do a lot of dynamic poses with the head, at least sideways. Where the restriction lies is within the front and back parts, so this is about the max you can get. After that the whole head will pop off, and on the back it's about like this. So let's put the inner mouth back in again. There you go. So before we go to the body, I want to show you the splatter effect with the acid. So basically what you've got here on the smaller part is an actual magnet, and this magnet is made for placing this effect on this tubed area here. So let's try this. So it could look somehow like this. I imagine the scene like where we have a Marine standing here shooting with the pulse rifle directly through his head. That would be like a nice pose, I think. Of course you can put it the other way. Yeah, so it's a neat feature, but somehow just a very basic additional accessory on this figure, and they definitely got the idea from the NECA figures, I think. Alright, let's go a bit lower on this magnificent sculpt of the rib cage. There's a lot of paint variation going on. Somehow inside it's a bit bluish, on the outside it's a bit more brownish. I'm not sure if the camera can capture all these details, but it's really magnificent looking. Then we've got these long tubes on the back side. They're fixed and attached, so you can't remove them, but again, nicely sculpted. It's just magnificent creature design. If we pan down a bit, as you can see here, these blades on the arms, these are a bit flexible, but also fully attached. The belly section, really cool. So then of course, if we go lower, we've got the leg area and the hands. So the hands are really creepy looking, fingers attached to them, quite long as you can see. Also there's this shine of pearl effect going on. It's really cool. And let's have a last close-up on the leg and feet area. Also there are a lot of gloss on the sculpt. Then of course the alien warrior has quite a long tail, which is actually bendable because of the metal wire going inside. And you actually can do some nice and extreme poses. You can even lift up the tail and put it almost over the shoulder area to give him like an attacking pose with the tail, something like this, like he would sting his enemy and slice it apart. So this is an interesting feature, and what I want to show you here on the rib cage is actually to add this secondary bit larger acid effect. So here you see these 3 sections, and you just can plug this part inside the rib cage. Alright, let's cover the articulation because I think it's quite an important topic. Personally, I'm really a favorite on crawl poses for aliens, but it seems that Hot Toys didn't care on crawling poses for this figure or this release. I'm not sure if it was possible with the first releases, but at least in the movie, I mean, the alien drone or warrior was almost every time, all the time in crawling positions, going through vents and stuff like that. So for articulation, they tell you in the instructions to not lift this over 30 degrees, that's about it. But you can turn, of course, the arm almost 360 degrees. Then for the elbow articulation, it's a good 90 degrees, so there you definitely have a good range of motion to get in some nice grabbing poses or something like that. Also the hands are articulated. But then of course there's a bit of a trade-off for this figure. This part or this arm seems to be like a flexible hard plastic. Well, I'm not sure if this is the correct name for the material. It's not fully rubberized, but somehow a bendable plastic. And they tell you not to have him in this pose all the time. The same you will see in the legs in a minute. Then for the ab section and the torso, it seems that the torso area is, or at least the rib cage is a separate piece, somehow stacked upon the rubberized body or half plastic body. And you see there's actually quite a bend going on. So this is not as bad as I thought it would be. The ab crunch onto the backside is though limited. Left and right is okay, I would say. That's quite a big range of motion. I think it's fully articulated. It seems also to be almost 360 degrees. So no limitation like on other figures, like on, for example, the Iron Man figures. Then for the legs, as you can see, this is like a fixed, fully closed section here on the waist and the thighs, so there's absolutely no visible articulation. And I think inside there are just different joints, of course. There seems to be a certain degree of articulation possible, but you see that this rubberized plastic here is starting to bend. I wouldn't go that far and have him posed like this. So a crouching position like in the movie, it's absolutely no way with this figure. If we go for the knees, this is also fully closed in a rubberized plastic material. Also the thigh area, it's the same material as the knee, one fully closed, but it feels just a bit more as hard plastic than it should than in rubber plastic. It's a different feel. I've never expected this from a Hot Toys figure. So basically you can put this over 90 degrees. And that's quite a nice bend there. But here it's really limited. And also here in the instructions they tell you not to have him posed like this all the way and all the time. On the feet, the pivot is definitely there, so you can do some dynamic posing, I would say. And then of course there's quite a limitation on the band between the legs. It's just not meant for doing poses like this for a long period of time. Alright, a quick comparison with some human-sized figures. So here on the front side we've got a Major, Dutch Schaefer and Tony Stark, and then a Mark 45. And then of course the Alien Warrior, which really towers over human characters. So there's a noticeable size difference, of course. Really nice. And then of course the inevitable battle between Predator and Alien. Here is the classic Predator from Hot Toys with some nice modifications of Dave Apro from Germany, the bone necklace and stuff on it. And I mean, they work perfectly together. Just a nice couple, I have to say. So definitely the first time I really have one Hot Toys Xenomorph or Alien together with a Hot Toys Predator, and that's quite an epic moment for my collection actually. Alright, here we go, final pose in this video review of the Alien Warrior. I tried to go for a more dynamic extreme posing here, including the stand as a balancing means. And in the end I think the overall and final product really came out great. I mean, I have no comparison. there are some limitations in terms of the articulation here, especially on the thigh area and some small stuff here and there. Also, I'm not sure about this half plastic rubber body, how it will hold up over time. But overall, I'm really impressed, and for the money, which is about $260 at the release date in the United States, I think it's an overall a good figure. Of course, there's not a lot of accessories, but the overall product with this extremely well sculpted creature and a magnificent paint job, it really is worth the money. If you go right now for Hong Kong, it's about $320 EMS shipped, which is also quite a nice deal. And I think the last discussion is about the different paint colorization. I mean, in the end, the movie suit was brown blackish, and Hot Toys decided to give us somehow a blend between these two tones. So basically we have a blue ambient light version mixed up with the brown original suit, and I think the overall end and final product turned out great with this blue pearl effect on a brown base body paint. So for me it really works, and I'm quite curious to see some comparison with the original version from a long time ago. I think it's almost 10 years ago, and Hot Toys released at that point I think 2 versions. So there was a blue version and a brown version. So I'm really looking forward to some other releases in their Alien or Aliens line, and for the moment this is it. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, bye bye.